Good Saturday morning, everybody. It is bright and early. The Freedom is out looking for bluefin tuna. And of course, we're going to have some updates on that and so much more. You know, there's a lot going on right now, including some more great white shark sightings around the Torrey Pines area. There's been a few of those devils running around there recently. Still good fishing south of the border down in Ensenada, San Quintin, and further on down for the long range guys. They've been doing quite well also. Plenty of rockfish up and down the coast, but that's set to end pretty soon also, and some awfully nasty weather on the horizon. Good morning, everybody. You know what time it is. It is time for the morning briefing. Oh my God, is that good? Hey everybody, it is great to be back with you. It's Saturday morning. This afternoon, it's going to get awfully breezy out there on Tanner Bank, and if it holds up the way the forecast is, it's going to become unfishable on Sunday and Monday, maybe even Tuesday. By Wednesday, it starts to look really, really nice again, but we're going to have to talk about water temperature drops and so much more. We'll get into that when we get to the tuna situation on the morning briefing. It's great to be with you. Hit that like button, that thumbs up. It means so much to us all. And if you can, subscribe and tick that bell, because the bell is what will notify you when new content becomes available. And of course, we want you all to see that and enjoy that. And don't forget, if you love these videos, share them with a friend. It's the way that we continue to grow, with you hitting the like button, sharing these videos, subscribing, ticking the bell. All of those things are such a great help to us, and I deeply appreciate it. All right, I'm down here super early on Saturday morning because I'm going to get in my car and race back to Surfside for sunrise, and I'm actually going to go surf fishing. So if we do anything at all today, I will be letting you know. And Eddie Leland, Captain Eddie Leland, he's been battling cancer. He's doing so much better. He's going to show up. We're going to fish together. It should be a lot of fun, and I'll have an update on that and how we do a little bit later this morning if we catch anything. If we don't, I'll be breaking into tears somewhere and just depressed, hiding out all day. Not really, but if we don't have any news, we don't have any news. What can I tell you? Hey, you know, there still is so much squid that is flushing into all our coastal regions, our island regions. It really has been remarkable, the amount of market squid that has been present this year, more than last year by far. And as I always like to tell you, that is part of the food chain. The big ones will come to eat the little ones, as you remember from your high school biology class. And that means that I think we're setting up for really a magnificent spring up there in the Channel Islands, especially the Endeavor with Tucker McCombs and all those guys up there. Man, I'm telling you, all those boats, Ventura, Cisco's, everybody out there is really poised for a magnificent spring, if not sooner than that, because all of this squid is just a magnet for predators like white sea bass, yellowtail, halibut, you name it. They all like to eat squid, and there certainly is enough of it around right now. So that is really great news. Now, more white sharks have been seen. Now, a couple days ago, I told you Pete Thomas, a good friend of mine, was up walking around Torrey Pines and photographed a white shark. Happened again yesterday. He saw another one. They're juvenile white sharks, and those sharks are normally feeding on rays and halibut and yellowfin croaker. Those devils, they eat all my yellowfin I'm trying to catch. But they're feeding on fish. It's when they get to 10 feet in length that they change and start to eat mammals like sea lions, one of their favorites. So for the most part, it's not anything to be concerned about, because these things pass by every day, all the time. And they have been doing that for millions of years. So nothing to get too concerned about. We see sharks all the time. They live in the environment. We should all know that shark attacks are very infrequent. However, this is the second day in a row, and I thought I'd bring another photograph from Pete, as he has been doing yeoman's work on the great white shark sightings here recently. Also, want to let you know that Our ticket sales are continuing on our raffle, and so many of you have been purchasing tickets. The funds that we raise will help us take a lot of goods down to Mexico and hand them out to some people that don't have a safety net, and also as a way of us thanking the people of Mexico for allowing us to fish in their pristine and gorgeous and bountiful seas. It's a great win-win deal, and I appreciate all that you do. If you want some raffle tickets, just send me a text. Phil, I want some raffle tickets. And just send them over to 657-227-6459, and I will get you out some tickets, and maybe you'll win that 2-day trip on the Apollo, or you'll win that new Daiwa Alexa 400. There's some really great prizes, and it all goes to help a really great cause. So send me a text, and I'll get that out to you right now. All right, let's talk weather just one more time to let you know that Tanner Bank is going to get unfishable. It's going to get really, really nasty. I know a good friend of mine, Alan Girardi's been out there on the XL previous to all of this, and he was out there catching some really nice bluefin tuna and doing really, really well and feeling blessed while doing it, because of the great crew on the XL and people that still remembered Alan from a long time ago, about 42 years ago. I think he was on the Searcher when I used to know him, and we'd run into each other quite often. So good to see that. Also, recently, the Pride was out there, the Amigo was out there, and they had some really good bluefin tuna fishing. So really excellent signal out there, but this weather is going to foul it all up here starting a little bit later today. Around 4 or 5 this afternoon, it's going to get nasty out there, and then it's going to worsen. And for the most part, it looks like Sunday on the coastal regions, we could have a lot of wind, but for the most part, it's going to go back to pretty calm. It's going to stay nasty out there for quite some time. Up toward the Channel Islands, a little bit further north, it's going to stay nasty along the island chain there. I want to say from Saturday night into Monday, perhaps. All forecasts, so make sure you check with the boat that you might have a charter with or that you're trying to go on. Those guys know way more, and they have more current information, so make sure you do that. But it looks very nasty. Down there around Ensenada area, same thing. Looks like we're going to get a blow up on Saturday evening into Sunday, and then it goes back to some really nice weather. All right, let's start down there in Ensenada and talk lingcod, because the lingcod bite has been absolutely wonderful, and it has continued that way again for our friends down there at Bluefin Sport Fishing in beautiful Punta Banda, Baja California. Just a glorious place to fish out of, not only because it's so pristine and beautiful and the fishing is so good, but the guys at Bluefin are so darn nice. They are really, really lovely people, and I know you're going to enjoy fishing with them. Catch some big sheep's head, some nice whitefish, all kinds of reds, and those lings right now. The bite has been super, super good, and as long as they have flat, calm weather, it should continue that way. And as Victor explains, those lings like to move into that shallow water when it gets really cold, and it's starting to cool down quite a bit. They'll move into the Soledad Bank right off of Santo Tomas and other rocks and areas that are down there. It can be really prolific fishing. Fishing a mackerel down on the bottom is a good way to get a big ling, but also just bouncing a jig off the bottom. Just a great way to take ling cod, and it is going on and on and on. So here on Saturday, that is all looking really, really good for now. Arnie Sport Fishing, another guy down there that I love to fish with, and Costa Baja, Diego Nuno's operation. Those 3 operations, and there's others. I know many of you. Why don't you, if you fish with somebody in Ensenada that you like to fish with, throw it up in our comment section. Please feel free to tell us about your experience and how good it has been. But those guys have been catching rockfish also, and an occasional good bite on the bonita around Punta Banda, and also an occasional, but not many, yellowtail. Once in a while, Todos Santos and down there near Santo Tomas and other areas can get some really good yo-yo iron yellowtail bites going on. And that's when you're fishing nothing less than 50-pound with a yo-yo iron that you drop down to the bottom and you wind on it as fast as you can, and that thing loads up. And man, there is nothing more fun than that. It's not going on. I'm dreaming about it, okay? I'm hoping it's going to occur here really, really soon. But for now, rockfish, rockfish, rockfish with the occasional yellow and a few bonita down there in that neck of the woods. Let's go back to Tanner Bank now. We talked about the weather. We teased the tuna bite. It's been pretty darn good. The Freedom's out there bouncing around today, seeing if they can come up with something. The weather should be pretty nice for those guys right now, and then blow up on them toward the afternoon. It's going to get nasty, and their ride home is going to be kind of snotty, I would think, later on today. But if they got a limited tuna on the boat, who cares? That's all that counts. And they've been able also to fish rockfish out there. The Pride on a recent trip, really great fishing for those guys. Decks full of bluefin tuna, excellent fishing going on. I know several guys who were on the last trip, and they're just saying, man, I got my December, my Christmas bluefin tuna, which is pretty darn rare if you look at the history of bluefin tuna fishing here in Southern California. It's remarkable the bite we have had going on. While they're catching bluefin tuna, they're also snagging squid in the same area, and it is all that squid that is the feed, it is the magnet, it is the food source, I think, that's keeping all that bluefin tuna even in that cooler water, which is 58 degrees in some cases right now. And I have no doubt that after this blow here later today and on into Monday, Tuesday, could get down to 55, could get down chillier than that. And then the question looms, will that bluefin tuna stay in that water because the feed is there, and will it continue to bite? Your guess is as good as mine on that one. So there's also the chance for rockfish up until January 1st. We teased up front that rockfish is coming to an end. Boom, January 1st, it's over here in SoCal until April, I believe. April 1st, it's going to reopen. You will have alternatives to go south of the border and fish with the guys in Ensenada, or jump on a sport boat out of San Diego and go down to Colonette. Those trips are a lot of fun. They catch yellows and rockfish on those trips, so they can be really prolific, great bottom fishing, and every once in a while you'll get slammed on those yellows biting that yo-yo iron also. But back to Tanner Bank and those bluefin tuna. They do bite the sardine pretty well. Then you want to go down to 20, 25 pound fluorocarbon. www. Opsin USA. Oh my God, forget it. OpsinUSA.com. Put in FA at checkout. And Greg Brown will send you a love note as well as a free gift. So drop that mono down when fishing the sardine, the fluoro. And then also when you're fishing live squid or fresh dead squid, sometimes you got to drop down, but most of the time they'll bite 25, 30, 40 pound in some cases. A bigger hook like a 1-0 hook, sometimes a 2-0 hook, sometimes smaller if they're finicky. And on the sardine, sometimes you're dropping down to a number 4 size hook to really tone things down, especially in this cooler water. And again, I think you're going to see water temps probably around 55 after we get through this weekend and this blow, but only time will tell on that one. So some pretty darn good bluefin tuna fishing, but it's coming to a halt here on Sunday for sure. We'll see where we go after that, whether anybody even wants to go. We're kind of starting to run out of fishermen before we run out of fish, but they might be headed in the same direction this year. But let me just say, it wouldn't surprise me if that bluefin comes back and bites again. It's so resilient. I've seen some really big blows here this fall, and they come right back and they bite again. So we'll see what happens. Keep our eyes on that for you very, very closely. So on the plus side, 58-degree water, those fish are still biting. There's plenty of squid. There's still fish there, and it looks pretty darn good. On the negative side, water temps are bound to plummet after this latest blow, and we're going to see very few boats out there because many guys have tied it up. And when you have very few boats, it's just harder to stumble upon those fish. We'll see what happens. One guy, Sean Roberts on the Pride, and then you got the Amigo, and you got the Freedom. Those guys are all capable, excellent fishermen. I have no doubt that any one of those guys could run those fish down. We'll keep our eyes on that and see where we go from here. All right, let's talk islands. Down there, San Martin Island, 140 miles below the border out of San Quintin. You run out to San Martin, and you can find some yellows, some pretty good yellow action going on, lots of rockfish. Up to Todos Santos Island, we kind of talked about it. Some big bonita around there and smaller bonita also, and a few yellowtail, but mostly rockfish. Coronado Islands, mostly rockfish. Clemente, we see a few yellows, rockfish, and a few wintertime bass on that squid. They love to bite that. Catalina, a lot of bonita there with some rockfish. Over there at Santa Barbara Island, we're continuing to pick off some white sea bass for the yacht guys, and also some sport boats could get in on that. There's rockfish there also, and there's some breezing yellowtail, but they're up for like 40 minutes and then they're out of the picture. That's getting those yachts are getting in on that bite primarily, and they're getting some sea bass at Catalina Island also. Sport boats are not getting in on that bite yet. it needs to get a little bit more wide open. And some of those areas are so shallow right up to the island that it's difficult to fish in them. Although, let me just add this caveat, in case you are a private boater and you're thinking about it, some of that fish has been out in the deeper water also. Channel Islands, prolific, great rock fishing going on up there. It has been really good on lings and reds and whitefish and sheep's head, all of that stuff. San Nicolas Island, just an awesome bite out there. I love fishing that place. Those big goats, those big sheep's head, those big viejas, as we call them in Spanish. They are such a great eating fish, and they're so much fun to catch in the shallow water. They pull hard, and they're big out there at Nick. Lots of whitefish, and if you get out in a little bit deeper water, catch the reds and the rockfish and all that, and you only have a few more days to go. Hopefully, this weather's going to give us a break, because it is going to be way too nasty out there on Sunday, Monday. That is for sure. Up there, we'll just run you up to Morro Bay and tell you that the bite up there has been really excellent, seeing nothing short of outstanding fishing up there on the rockfish. Coastal regions, all shallow water rockfish, pretty much all. I mean, we are seeing some bass, some sand and calico bass, no big numbers, mostly all shallow water rockfish from the Mexican border all the way up to sea landing in Santa Barbara, where they have been out to San Miguel Island here recently for great fishing, great bottom fishing along the coast. Again, the shallow water rockfish biting pretty darn well. Surf fishermen still coming up with occasional yellowfin croaker, some halibut, also some spotfin croaker. As I said, a couple more hours, I'll be out with Eddie Leland, and we will be fishing that stuff. I think my friend Bob Gifford is also going to join us, a guy that I went to grammar school with. So we've known each other for, I don't even want to tell you, 55 years, something like that. Way too long. So we're all going to get together, and whether we catch or not, we're going to have some fun, no question about that. Our raffle still going strong, 657-227-6459. Just send me a text. Tell me you want some info on the raffle. I'll pop it right out to you, and maybe you'll win that 2-day trip on the Apollo that includes all your meals fishing with Friedman Adventures. All right, gray whales. Saw the first one a couple days ago. The migration is underway. That is always exciting. I love getting out on the water and seeing whales pass by on their way to the warm water lagoons of Baja California. This is a special time of the year. But fishing is not over yet. We'll continue to monitor it for you very, very closely. I thank you so much for getting up early here on Saturday morning and joining me. I'm out of here. I'm off to go do some surf fishing. Once again, give us a like, and hopefully I'll be able to check back with you in a few more hours with some nice big yellowfin croaker or barred perch or something really cool. Take care, my friends. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and I hope to see you really, really soon.